Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how I drew this fox and give you some really great tips on using coloured pencil along the way. I'm Kirsty Rebecca and I make drawing and painting tutorials that are easy to follow even if you're just starting out. So I'm working on white Clairefontaine pastel matte paper, and this paper is kind of like a sanded paper with a really fine tooth. So it's quite smooth to work on, but it can give you quite a lot of layers in comparison to a lot of other drawing papers. But you can do this on whatever drawing paper you prefer, whether it's Strathmore or watercolour paper or anything like that. And I've just transferred my outline using transfer paper. So I'm starting with the face, and I'm just using a light cream colour to fill in the orange areas as a base layer. And I'm just doing this very lightly. And I'm going over the top of that cream area with an orange, making sure to leave some variation in the fur colour so that there are still lighter areas and shadow areas. And I'm putting more orange in the shadow areas, letting the cream show through in the lighter areas. And at all of the stages throughout this drawing, I'm making sure that my pencil strokes are going in the right direction and that they're the right length. So you want to make sure that in the areas like on the nose, the pencil strokes aren't long, they're almost dots because of how short the fur is in that area. You don't want to put long pencil strokes there because it's going to make it look like it has long fur there. So really pay attention to your reference photo and work out which direction that fur is going in and how long the strokes are. So I'm using a brown to fill in the darker areas like the inside of the ear, around the eyes and the nose area. And I'm using some dark blue for the blackest areas. You don't want to go straight in with black because it will look dull, so build up to that black by adding a darker colour like a dark blue first. And I'm doing that around the eyes and the nose and the mouth area because they're all quite dark. So I'm adding some colour to the iris as well. And I'm using pretty sharp pencils in this piece because of how small I'm working, to make sure that I can get some of the detail in. So in the orange areas of the fur, I'm also adding other colours to make it vary a little bit. You don't want to just have orange all over the entire piece because it will look a little bit unnatural and almost cartoony. So I'm making sure that I'm going in with some peaches and oranges and magentas and browns and all different kind of colours in all different areas of the fox so that it looks a little bit more interesting. And it will help give it a bit more depth and make it look realistic rather than just using orange. In the white areas of the fox, I'm making sure that I'm adding a light layer of grey and also some blues in there so it doesn't just look grey. The blues and the purples will help create a shadow colour and it will give the white fur a bit more depth. If you only use greys in the white fur for the shadows, it can look like the animal is aging rather than shadow because it looks like the animal has grey fur. So adding the blues and the purples will help create that shadow effect without it looking like it's aging. White fur reflects the colours around it, so the blues and the purples are reflected from the background. So I'm doing the same thing on the body as I did with the face. I'm starting out with that cream colour as the base and then going in with the oranges and the other colours to create variations in the fur. And the reason why I add in that light base colour is just to make sure that I have enough pigment down before I go and blend out with solvent. Because the colour looks really light and you can barely see it, but having that pigment there will help blend the solvent smoothly. If you don't have enough coloured pencil on the paper, it won't blend out as smoothly and painterly because there isn't enough pigment for the solvent to blend together. But I don't want to just add more and more orange to it because it's just going to look like a big patch of orange. So I use that lighter colour underneath to help just add more pigment to the paper. So I'm using a mixture of darker colours for the legs before going in with the black. And I'm making sure that I'm following the reference photo and looking at where the dark and light areas are, because although the legs are black, there are still some areas that are highlighted. So this is where I'm starting to blend out the layer with solvent. You can use solvent, odorless mineral spirits, Gamsol, paint thinner, or anything like that. As long as it's from an art store, don't try and use like turpentine from a hardware store, it's not the same. There's also some natural ones out there like Zest It that you can buy if you're worried about the solvent. Make sure that you dab off the excess solvent before going onto your artwork because it can create sort of like a stain around the edge of your subject if you've got too much solvent on your brush and it's too wet. So this is not like watercolour pencils, it's a completely different way of working. If you've used watercolour pencils before, you can use as much water as you like, and pretty much the more water you add, the softer the strokes will blend out. Whereas with the solvent, it's not like that at all. You really don't want much solvent on your brush. And I usually start in the lighter areas and then go into the darker areas, so I don't blend too much of the darker colour into the lighter area. And you don't have to use a paintbrush to add the solvent. You can use a cotton tip or blending stump some people use, but I just have an older sort of brush that I use for this. And don't use one of your good brushes for this, especially if you're working on pastel matte or sanded paper, because the brush can wear away quite easily on the rougher papers. You can see my brush is quite splayed out and I won't be able to use that for painting anymore. Well, I could use it for painting, but it's not in a perfect condition anymore. So I keep this brush aside just to use for solvent. And then I switch to a smaller brush for the smaller areas. And I waited 15 minutes for it to dry, and you don't have to wait that long, but I usually do just in case it's wet. You don't want to go in with another layer until the paper is completely dry because you can damage your paper that way. And then I'm just repeating the process of the first layer, adding another layer of coloured pencil over the top. And this layer will help darken up those shadow areas and make things look a bit more vibrant. People get caught up in having the perfect colour to make things look realistic, but the way that you get something to look realistic is by having an accurate outline to start with and making sure that your values are right. So make sure that your shadows are as dark as the reference photo and the same with your highlights. If you aren't sure whether yours is dark enough, you can take a photo of your artwork and then turn it into black and white, and then compare it side by side with a black and white version of your reference photo. And that will help see the differences between how dark the reference photo is and how dark your artwork is. So I'm just blending out that second layer with solvent, and this time I'm using even less solvent, and I'm not fully blending out all of the strokes. I'm just blending them lightly so that some of the strokes show through to create some of that fur texture. And before I show you how I add in those details on top and create that fur texture to make it look realistic, if you want to follow along with my longer real-time tutorials where I talk you through every step of the process, then head over and check out my Patreon channel. For as little as $4 per month, you will have access to every tutorial that I've previously uploaded in a variety of mediums like pastel, coloured pencil, graphite, watercolour and more. You will also have access to the original reference photo, a traceable outline, and a list of supplies that I'm using, so you really can follow along every step of the way. Every month, I will upload brand new tutorials to the library so that you can grow and develop your drawing and painting skills and take your art to the next level. The link is in the description if you want to check it out. I'm now going in with a white pencil to start adding in some fur texture. Throughout the whole piece, you want to make sure that your pencil strokes are going in the right direction and that they're the right length. And make sure that you're varying your strokes as well. So have some curve slightly, have some start in different places and stop in different places, and have them slightly different lengths as well. So I'm just going over the entire fox with this white to create some texture. And this is the Derwent Drawing Chinese White, which is the most opaque white coloured pencil that I've found. And then I'm going in with the Derwent Drawing Black, which is also a really opaque coloured pencil, to darken up the black areas quite a bit as well. Having your dark areas and shadow areas dark enough will really make your drawing pop. And now that I've added some texture with the white pencil, I'm actually glazing other colours like oranges and peaches and creams over the orange areas so the white pencil strokes don't look too white. I don't usually put in every strand of fur on my artwork because I personally don't think it's necessary. I did cover the entire fox with that white pencil, but because the fox is so small, these lines represent small clumps of fur rather than individual pieces of fur. If you wanted to add more detail, you can sharpen your oil-based coloured pencils like the polychromos to a really fine point and then go and add as much detail as you like. But I personally like artwork that looks realistic from a distance, but when you get close, it looks like a drawing or a painting where you can see brush strokes or pencil strokes. So I like to just give the general gist of the fur texture, which is what I'm doing with the white pencil, and then I'm glazing over the top. It helps to show the direction of the fur and gives it some texture without having to do every little hair. If you wanted hyper-realism with every fur detail, you'll probably want to work much larger so that you can get as many pencil strokes as you need to. With something small like this, it's not really practical to try and get every little piece of fur in there. And so I'm using solvent again to blend it out just a little bit. And this time I'm using it to get rid of some of the graininess. And I haven't got much of the solvent on the brush at all. I'm just sort of using it to make the strokes look a little bit softer. So I'm adding a light shadow underneath the fox with some of the browns and greys. Usually I add a background to my pieces, but I wanted to keep this one a bit more simple, so I just added the shadow to ground him so he doesn't look like he's floating. So when you're working, you just want to keep going until your values are correct and that you're happy with how much detail is there. If you don't know whether your values are correct or not, a good way to check is to take a photo of your artwork and then turn it into black and white, and then get your reference photo and turn that into black and white, and then just compare the two. You can see how dark the reference photo shadows are in comparison to your own, so then you can go and darken up those shadow areas on your own artwork. So I'm just adding in those whiskers, and you need to make sure that your pencil is super sharp so that you don't end up with as much graininess. Also, if your pencil is a little bit dull, it can make the whiskers look kind of thick, so you want to make sure that you have a sharp point. Also, avoid going straight in with black because it can look a bit too harsh. You can use a dark brown or a dark blue instead, and it will look a bit more natural. If you did want to follow along with a 2-hour version of this tutorial where I explain what colours I'm using when and the reasons why I'm doing things as I go, and then head over to my Patreon channel. The link is in the description for you to check it out. But in the meantime, I have a playlist on the screen with a lot of other coloured pencil tutorials that I think you might find useful, so click on that and I'll see you over there.